Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim returning to these videos. Alright, so this is just going to be a quick video. I got like 3 articles pretty much. They're going into the COVID-19 quarantine. About these people, they have to stay at home, not be able to go out and work, find jobs or whatever. And then ultimately these stores are starting to get closed down. So with this whole, COVID-19, because this video is not about conspiracy theories where in the sense of if it's real or not. The cause and effect of the thing called COVID-19 is definitely real. It's destroying this society's economic system to the point where once pretty much this thing's all said and done, if it happens like that, that's not, people aren't going to be able to just get back to regular. Like it's never going to be the same. I'm gonna go and get a pull scripture. Alright, let's start here at Jeremiah 51 verse 8. It says, Babylon is suddenly falling and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. So whether this be, like I said, in the conspiracy series sense, if this COVID-19 is fake or real, the cause and effect of it is real. And also whether it be, like an actual thing that the elites are doing so they could do an order out of chaos situation so that, they cripple American society so that all the people can, crawl to them, the government for help. Because this COVID-19 is pretty much, it's making Babylon the Great, America, not as it was before. Because this COVID-19 thing is, it's going to make everyone get fired. People still got to pay rent. People still got to pay utilities and stuff. And then, Donald Trump is going to, try to alleviate it with stimulus packs. Pretty much put everybody on what was it called? I forgot the word of that thing. When you're on when you get money from the government. Oh, I forgot the word of it. Welfare. That was the word. Yeah. So Donald Trump is pretty much getting everybody put on welfare. So if you imagine everybody on welfare, it's not going to be as things were before. People are still going to want to party, this and that, and live lavish. But because of this COVID-19 situation, that's going to be brought low. Alright, so verse 8 says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. So everyone's going to want to have that pain, that pain alleviated with the balm. Whether the balm is, the Trump stimulus or, this thing going away, it's not going to be healed. Like I says, this COVID-19 thing is here to stay. Even if it so-called leaves, it definitely left its imprint in life. All right, so verse 9 says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this clip of this video, and it's talking about, the stay-at-home order about in these stores. Because not everyone's really listening to, the government. And because everyone's got to work, they got to pay for food and money and rent, and that stimulus pack, it ain't coming fast enough, and it's not coming big enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip right here.
Many businesses are closed. Essential businesses like grocery stores are open, but some non-essential businesses are open as well. And law enforcement says that's a problem.
We have kind of moved from an educational role to we're going to call it an enforcement role.
The Stanislaus County Sheriff says enforcement is necessary after several warnings. The department has received more than 100 complaints citing businesses that are open but aren't supposed to be. Stanislaus County Sheriff says the department has had to deliver letters of cease and desist to more than 100 businesses that are not essential and that are still open.
Yeah, so those cease and desist letters, they're not good for business. Like how pretty much this whole situation has happened is, there's like an order out of chaos thing. Because right now it's just straight up order There's no chaos. Oh, sorry, I've said that backwards. Right now, it's just chaos and there's no order. Because you got the pretty much the government is telling these companies that they have to close down shop. And they're not giving a solution to that. They're just telling them just go home, go get ready to file for unemployment and get welfare. So they don't really have a solution to this problem. There's no balm for this wound to get healed. Ultimately, there is, because all this stuff, it's leading to the RFID microchip. All roads lead to the chip. Even this COVID-19 thing. I've done videos before on how the COVID-19 virus and the RFID microchip is pretty much one and two. The RFID microchip is the so-called balm that heals you so that you can participate in Babylon again. But right now it's just straight up chaos, and it's getting people pretty much in a civil unrest state of mind.
The businesses that have received the most complaints are restaurants that are still offering on-site dining, gyms and fitness centers, bars and nail salons and hair salons.
We have kind of moved from an educational role to we're going to call it an enforcement role, but the goal here is not to have any punitive action at the end of this. What we really want is compliance.
The letters are clear and serve as a warning that could lead to fines.
In the order issued by the state of California, it is very clear that they are specifically prohibited from operating. There's no question about that.
Businesses could even risk losing their license.
We're not looking to arrest people. We want people to comply with this order for the betterment of our whole community and resolving this medical problem.
In Modesto, Melinda Meza, KCRA 3.
Yes, they're not trying to arrest people. But, if it comes to it, they're going to. They're not going to force this chip upon you, but when it comes to it, really, they are going to force this chip upon you. All right, so this is a precept, speaking about how pretty much, this is pretty much like a deck. You turn the page to Babylon's history, because it's never going to be the same. This is pretty much the phase where everything, all the mirth is brought low and the grinding is ceasing. All these stores are closed, and the only ones that are open or allowed to be open are essentials. Essentials are pretty much Walmart, security, and welfare distribution companies. That's the future of Babylon, so far as what it looks like. All right, so this is Ecclesiastes 12 verse 3. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the window be darkened. And the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." Because it's pretty much, it was the same thing as what happened during 9/11. So I was 12 years old when it happened, and I noticed that everything changed, and it was never going to go back to the way it was before 9/11. I used to like going to Halloween, dressing up, getting candy, this and that. But after 9/11, there was no more Halloween. You weren't allowed to go outside because everyone was bugged out due to terrorist threats and stuff like that. They weren't even real. So because of this COVID-19 thing is going to close down a lot of stores. It's like what Walmart is pretty much just the mom and pop shop killer. And that's actually the spot where FEMA is going to take over once martial law officially hits, once it's fully manifested. That's going to be the epicenter of everyone going there to get chipped and paying for food for being a good citizen with their social credit. Their Bitcoins, their Trump coins or whatever. All right, so I got another video article pretty much. It says Bay Area officials add new restrictions on what people can do during the extended COVID-19 shelter-in-place orders.
Playground, no tennis, no basketball, and no running your dogs in the dog park as new shelter-in-place orders go into effect all across the Bay Area starting Wednesday.
That's definitely more than what I expect because currently people are stuck at home with their kids and their dogs.
A thought echoed by so many at the parks we visited in Richmond and El Cerrito. Those who had just learned the shelter in place was being extended and strengthened.
Closing the dog park, it seems draconian. Do we need to do that?
And this guy said, you're closing the dog parks. It seems draconian because, in this video right here, I'm going to show you. Like I did a video before about this COVID-19. Look, so okay, we're saying it's a real epidemic. Be careful out there. Wash your hands when you come back home. Wear your protective gear. But when I'm saying wear your protective gear for this situation, you got to be MOP level 5. You have to have a full face seal gas mask, with a filter, and then you have to have like an actual like suit that goes over your clothes with rubber boots, taped over so that there's no air going in and out. But then like I went to Costco a while back, and everyone was like saying that this 6 feet away thing is like what we got to do. But when once we go in there, you're talking to everybody, you're close to each other, need elbow to elbow, you're pushing the buttons, you're on the buying food, talking to the cashier, so it would be literally a waste to put on those masks, like the masks that everyone's putting on, because the virus can get inside your eyes and your ears. So yes, the virus, it'll be easier to go through your lungs, but if this is the type of an epidemic where it's going all over the place, and they're closing these places down, like the dog park, that's because they don't want your eyes to be infected, because that's how you get infected. And you got all these people, they don't know, they don't study anything. Like this guy, he knows a little bit. He knows that word draconian. These people, they wear surgery masks, and those don't stop the virus from going in your mouth. But that's Americans. They're the stupidest nation in the world. So he said the word draconian. So if you don't know what that word is, you got to get up on game, because it's pretty much what the elites are going to be they're going to start flexing their muscle. So pretty much do as I say or else is what they're going to do. They're going to start chipping people. That's a draconian legislation. All right, so an adjective of laws or their applications excessively harsh or severe. So it's pretty much the government flexing their muscle. It says the Nazis destroyed the independence of the press by a series of draconian laws. So you get the gist. All right, so I wanted to read this in 2 Ezra 15, verse 15. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and the swords in their hands." Because these draconian laws, pretty much, they're going to start making people aggravated. People got fired, pretty much. They don't have a job. They're going to be aggravated. Not everybody wants to do welfare and get that Trump bucks. They actually want to work for the money that they work for, so they can eat a certain lavish way. But if you go to Walmart, you're not going to be eating lavish. You're going to be eating what the government wants you to eat. So these things, all these quarantines and stuff, all this stuff, it's going to lead to the sedition and civil unrest of the people in America, which is pretty much it's called martial law, because the government, once all these people are going crazy, they're going to have to flex the muscle and calm the people down. Or really, I should say, they're going to start calling the people down. Let's continue on verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in the power." Because this guy, he was saying, close the dog park. That seems kind of draconian. No one's gonna catch the COVID if they're just walking their dog park and they're actually following the laws. So people are going to start, disregarding what the government is saying. They're going to start, disregarding. Well, they said it in this one. They're disregarding this, and they're saying, "Oh, we're politely sending them this thing. You are hereby ordered to cease and desist the business. It is in violation of an executive order due to the outbreak of COVID-19." It's pretty much people going to start disregarding this. Well, they're doing it already, but it's going to get to a point where the government has to move in and pretty much fulfill prophecy of martial law happening and rounding up these people and chipping them at the FEMA camps. All right, so verse 17 says, "A man shall desire to go into a city or a dog park, a store that they used to like going to." People want to go out. Like me personally, during this quarantine, I'm a little upset because I can't go to the beach and run on the sand or something. That place is shut down as of last week. Okay, so it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So we're coming into the times where this precept is going to manifest. Martial law. Like if you've seen those movies, like The Purge, Mad Max. It's going to get to that point where people are going to start, raiding one another for. Excuse me. They're going to start raiding one another for toilet paper because they ran out. And not everyone's going to go to the government for their toilet paper fix. And this quick video too. This is in Louisville, Kentucky. It says it's now putting defiant COVID-19 patients on house arrests. So the mostly thing is the cops are upset. So now we got to deal with these COVID, confirmed COVID cases. We got to put this suit on, this and that. The cops pretty much upset that he's got to do all these things. But pretty much so, the person catches the COVID-19, they put him on house arrest. They want to make sure this guy does not leave the house and spreads it. They want to make sure he doesn't go to the dog park and spread it, or the beach. So what they're doing is they're putting ankle monitors on him, so that they know that once he walks out, the Internet of Things is going to snitch on him, and the cops are going to know immediately. That's why they got all those 5G towers. So this thing, there's no lag on their end. It's not dial-up that we're dealing with.
Here's what's happening. Judges are issuing official court orders demanding the patient quarantines at home or face criminal charges. Then the sheriff's department delivers the court order to the patient. After that, the corrections officer goes to the patient's home to attach the HIP GPS monitoring system.
See, with this GPS thing, is getting people used to the fact that, yes, you are being tracked and monitored. And like I've said before, like the RFID chip itself is not a tracking device, like in that one movie, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he pulled out that RFID tracking device out of his nose. That's not the one that we're known to deal with. Because the Internet of Things, your house, your toaster pretty much, is going to be hooked up to the internet, so that when your RFID walks by, it's going to know that you're walking by. So that's not a tracking device, it's a tracking node, so that everything around you knows where you're at, and it's all connected to the Internet of Things. So the government's going to know, with that RFID microchip, if you where you're at, pretty much. Like there was a movie, it's called Idiocracy. It was a movie like in the future everyone's stupid, and so like everyone has to pretty much get a barcode tattoo. So like the guy who pretty much went into the future, he's like a normal person, so he's like a genius compared to these everyone in the world is stupid. But like the cops they were pretty much chasing him, and so as he went into a car, like he was waving his hands around because he was scared. And so like his car scanned his barcode and it turned off the car, and then the cops ran up on him and they started shooting the car. And then there was another scene, he went to Costco. Very good movie too, I recommend it, Idiocracy. Very good, because it's got the RFID microchip scenes in it. This is the cover, like I recommend it. It's a very short movie. Mike Judge made it very good. But so there was a scene in that movie where also, he would go to Costco, and then the the soda machine, the Coca-Cola machine, it would scan him, and then the cops knew that what section and what row and aisle he would be at Costco. Because like this movie pretty much predicted that sense of the RFID microchip. Revelation 13:16. I'm gonna go ahead and read that. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." So this credit card pretty much inside your hand. The only way it would work for you to go buy some Coca-Cola wherever you want, like at a gas station in the middle of nowhere, is that Coca-Cola machine needs to be hooked up to the Internet of Things, the beast system. So that was a little quick addition to this part of this video.
That's where they're making contact.
If the judge puts it on paper, we got to do it.
He says those officers suit up to go into the infected person's house, and then they continue their routes.
So that's the end of this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, B'Hashem Rakakwadash, and Shalom Akim.